Alright, so we're putting our adhesive. I'm just using that white acrylic glue from the school. You don't need to put it everywhere, you're really just dressing the edge. Okay. Right. Right, nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this edge of the upper. Okay. You want to get this all the way around. Hey guys, I'm still doing my videos. Yep, gotta be quiet. Yeah. Alright, so you can see that I have glue all the way around the perimeter on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and put some heat, put a little bit of heat gun on this so that I can speed this up. Don't want to overheat it. But if you're using the acrylic, it should start turning white, like clear instead of white, sorry. If you're using that, kind of keep heating it evenly. I still recommend that once you do this step that you still give it about 5 minutes just to sit before you do it. However, I'm going to kind of move along in this demo. Alright, so let's just say we have already waited 5 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and glue last this. You don't need to see this part again. This is the same thing that I did in class. We did this already, and we've already practiced this, but just as the first step goes here, remember, you're going to get the toe, pull the toe down nice and tight, okay? Check your work, flip it over, make sure everything is nice and smooth here, okay? And as I start to glue last this, I'm pulling here, pulling it in, I'm pulling here, I'm pulling it in, and any small wrinkles that I get, I'm going to pull those in, hammer those down. So So as I start to shape the toe this way. Okay, flipping it over, checking my work. You see the toes start to take shape, and you're just going to go ahead and continue around. Last here up to the ball, okay? And then continue. Once you get to the ball, I would go ahead and flip it around. I would last the back up to about here, and then at the end I would close the waist. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm just going to let the video play here. Let me see if I can move this over. Right, so here I've got my work in my lap, and I'm gonna go ahead and start lasting this. You can see I'm just kind of turning the work around as I'm working. You should definitely be flipping it over to check your work. If it's not right the way that you want it, don't be afraid to take the glue loose and do it again. Okay, so the toe is taking shape. I'm just going to continue on. Another point, if you pull this too tight and your toe stiffener is not skived properly, you're going to see an X-ray line and you'll be able to tell exactly where the toe stiffener is. Ideally, you do not want to be able to see where the toe stiffener is. Okay, so here, I'm at the ball, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna go to the heel. Get the heel started. First point. Here. So I'm kind of just like pulling and using my thumb to press down. You can kind of see why I prefer glue lasting over nails. But traditionally, tacks and nails are the way to go. Okay. Trying not to over pull here. Again, I don't want to see those X-ray lines because I don't have a skiving machine here and I'm not able to properly skive this. I want to keep this not pulling too hard where that line is. Okay, a few more places to close up, and then my upper will be closed. Okay, all right, so at this point, the upper is closed. Any little areas where you can see X-ray lines coming through, you can kind of work on those and hammer those a little bit. Sometimes they'll lie down a bit. So you can work on hammering those things out. Better to do that with an actual shoemaking hammer than to do it with your pincers. Okay? So sometimes you'll see some lumps and things in here, but you can hammer them. The thermoplastic is not going to hammer down as well as leather would. But again, with proper skiving, you wouldn't see, like you can see this X-ray line here. This is where the stiffener is. That's because I wasn't able to run this stiffener on a skiver before I actually put it in here. But it's closed. I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. Just kind of clean this area up. You don't want to bear down too much because it's easy to cut through the insole board and all of that, especially if you're using leather. It's easy to do. Clean that up. Hammer it down. You can sand this smooth again, just like I did in the last step. And then I want to clean up the back here, getting rid of these wrinkles. So I'm going to cut those wrinkles out. Clean up the waist area a little bit here. Hammer it down. All right, so we'd have everything in here. At this point, again, you would just sand this down nice and smooth, and we'll talk about putting on the outsole later, but it's pretty simple. You're going to use your pattern from the bottom, trace that, cut it out in your rubber or Vegetan, whatever you have, right? You'd attach a small heel, and really, once you sand this and rough everything up, you're just going to glue it on. But for Tuesday's class, if you have it to this level, which you should have it all closed up, even if you stopped at this step of not stitching but just gluing everything together assembly wise, you should still be able to last this to the insole board and close it up this way. You just wouldn't have necessarily any stiffeners in. You don't have to have stiffeners, but for this project you do have to have the upper and the lining combined, and you have to have those two entities glued together to make one complete upper. And then you also need to last your upper to the insole board, whether it's stitched or not, whether you have stiffeners or not. That's going to be required for this grade. If you have questions, please let me know. I'm going to post this video, so it will be up this evening, so you can work on it on tomorrow and Monday, and I'll see you in class on Tuesday. Have a good weekend.